hard to find. Strong arm tactics so loud, only themselves in mind. Every player has dreams of making ORCA fame. They'll live on in the minds of those who get in their way. Orcas all say, don't come for me. Midners boots, they're so vain. As we set up the podcast webcam, the party's here to talk ORCA game. ORCA King CK with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Danny and Jules in tow, always ready to go. Now it's time for the show. They're the apex predators.
Hello and welcome to the ORCA Pod, the Apex Predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. Here we are on episode 2 of our coverage of the greatest LRG as voted by you that existed at the time we did the votes 2.5 years ago. My season, the best season, because it has the best characters and maybe the best winner. We'll discuss that tonight. Playing with Fire. Join me shortly. I will have the winner of the season to discuss all things about their game, everything they went through to get there, to get to that success. But before that, a little bit of housekeeping as always. Next week will be the tea party with Annabel, with Laurel, with Caitlin, with Chloe. Date to be confirmed, but that will be a hell of a tea party. May even go past the Canberra 1 Hoppo Dom feud tea party, which was elite. It was the top tier. Can this go S tier above it? We'll have to see. Week after that, we have rounding out the coverage. I'll have a interview with production, which is Liz, JP, and Vince, as well as giving away the awards for the season, determining the Bromilow Medals. People are already in full campaign mode. Make sure you get your votes in and get them in for me because it's the only valid vote. I don't care about these other big personalities. They were too good. And they weren't as obnoxiously douchebaggery as I was. So, now, and then same week, very week, we'll have that. And then we start our coverage of Uncharted Waters. So excited to have a new season coming in. This Playing with Fire appetizer into this new season with my 2 ORCA co-hosts participating in the season before they were ORCA co-hosts. We're time traveling back like 3 years ago. It's going to be amazing. And we'll be doing a live draft that week before it launches, the live premiere on 15 November. It will be a live draft with the ORCA coverage we will have for Uncharted Waters. It will be myself and our 3 most recent ORCAs as determined. 3 most recent Bromilow medalists. We'll have Loz, we'll have Mark, we'll have Josh O'Brien. It is going to be elite coverage. So look forward to that coming up in the next week. Now, I'm very excited to do this deep dive with this winner. This winner who obviously came out and participated in such a devastating circumstance. No one expects to go on Survivor, lose every challenge, get in a swap position where you think it's going to be very difficult to make it through. You make it through, you find some power, you find some agency at the merge and go all the way to the end to win. It's going to be a hell of a story to get through, and I'm really excited to bring in my guest for this. So let's welcome her in. Welcome, Denise. Great to have you on the show and hear about everything you did on Melbourne Survivor.
I am doing fantastic.
You are doing great? Good. Now, what was it that made you decide to come on to Melbourne Survivor? Like Melbourne Survivor, was that a hard decision for you to be part of this Melbourne?
There should have been. There should have been. But we're all kind of stupid, so we all just go like, you want us back? Sure. Like I got the call and, when it.
I couldn't not do that. That was a great bit. Let's welcome the game himself, the winner of Playing with Fire. John, welcome.
I was more than happy for Denise to speak on my behalf.
You like my Denise bit there? I had to go with it.
Yeah. I almost, for a second there, almost thought, I was like, wait, is that from like the cameo video that she did for me? But no, it's Winners at War.
Yeah, I just grabbed her Winners at War deep dive. I thought it'd be pretty funny, and it was. No, great to have you on the show. This is your chance to convince me why I should have voted for you. We don't want to hear about Denise. We want to hear about everything that you're in your game. of why you deserve to win this, which you did win, and you deserve to win.
Mm.
But you're going to prove it to
Yeah.
me and the audience over the next hour.
Yeah, no, definitely the last 4.5 years since that tribal, like I know I won, but like I didn't get your vote, and to this day it really cuts me deep because like the approval of the Orca Prime is like really the only like the real trophy of any LRG.
And even if I was handing out on Orca awards, you made some big moves, but you were very, very subtle. Chloe was probably the most Orca of those final three. But I want to hear about the moves. Now tell me, you've come into this game, Melbourne Survivor. What was your background to orgs or LRGs before you decided to play?
So I'm relatively new. Oh, I was at the time relatively new to the Survivor world. Season 39 was actually my first live season. And yeah, so like I think like most of at least I thought going into that most of the cast would be like you, like kind of those like since Borneo super fans. But yeah, I was relatively new. I watched season 39. I was kind of commenting on Reddit like as it goes, and then I got someone just messaged me to recruit.
What were you commenting on? Like, why is there a sexual harassment suit
like a
in the
live
middle of this reality game?
No, just like live discussions. And then I think like because I was traveling by myself, so I was really bored. Like I even won like when R slash Survivor does like the annual awards. I even like won like a Reddit Prime sort of membership for like a few months. Based on like best comment, strategic comment, or something like that. But yeah, I got recruited by this guy to play an online Survivor game on a forum based kind of website. So I kind of said like why not? And it was one of those like LRGs that's it's kind of anonymous, so they kind of give you like avatars of like actual Survivor players. And it was an Australian-based franchise, so they use Australian Survivor reps, and they give you like a 15-question questionnaire, and you kind of answer it, and they kind of choose like an avatar that kind of best represents your personality. And I think they thought I was a bit sassy, so they cast me as Shawnee, which loves CK commissioned Todd to make a cool pop vinyl of. And then
just
I think
for the
6 months
background
after
on
that.
So the audience knows, John has a shiny pop, which I bought him because after I played, he got me into this very same org community, and he put a little bit of pressure. They were tossing up between giving me Andy Vomit and the greatest player of all time, Golden God David, and John gave him that little bit of a nudge to give me David, which I've always appreciated, and so I more than happily ordered him a little pop.
Yeah. If anything, I was the original person who anointed you the Orca. I said that like no one else has as much narcissism as this guy, so he should be David.
Thank you.
But yeah, so then 6 months later they did like an All Stars, so I played that, and then that's where I met Tara and also CM from Melbourne 2 was also on my original season. But then I played again with Tara on All Stars and CM. So CM and Tara on All Stars. And so Melbourne 2, which just happened to be airing a couple of months after that LRG. And so there were kind of like, the end of each episode is like apply now. So I kind of applied for that. And that's sort of how I got on. And then I binged like a fuck ton of seasons between like that and playing. But I still probably had only seen like 15 seasons.
Okay.
Leading up to Melbourne.
So like me, you traveled. You were living in Sydney when you played. You traveled to play this game. Did you have initial strategies you were planning to implement? Were you thinking about them on the plane ride over? What was your initial game that you were thinking you could bring to this LRG?
So my strategy was sort of to have like no preconceived strategy coming in, because I think like that's sort of like where a lot of super fans kind of get stuck. I think people who have been fans of Survivor since like Borneo, they've had like 25 years to kind of think about like the perfect game that they would play and all the moves they would make. But I think the thing about Survivor is that every game you play, every cast you're with is a completely unique game. And so I kind of just wanted to kind of play to the game that was like being played then. And so because I think that's what sort of really helped me, because I think I was just more sort of focused on what was happening on my tribe, what was happening in the game, what are the relationships like. And so because I kind of just thought like and that was kind of one of the advice that sort of Denise actually gave me was that, like, only one person gets to be the winner. Only 3 people get to be, Final Tribal Council. Only sort of half the people make the merge. So like that kind of can't be your goal, because sometimes shit happens and it's not a lot you can control. So it's more about like, what are you going to take out of it? So whether it's like kind of the thrill of the unknown, the friendships you make, and just like having fun. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, really.
In terms of early form strategy, though, you said you didn't really have a strategy, though you had told me in the past that you were looking to pair up with the douchey meat shield, and you were actually giving me eyes at the initial wait they made us sit through for about 3 hours to try and like make some kind of. Apparently, I was giving you nothing. You said because I'm too cool for school. Did you think about, though, once you got your tribes, though? This fun one. Once you got your tribes, obviously Scott was the douchey archetype for your tribe. Did you feel like trying to make a bond with Scott in line with your initial plan?
Well, no, and I'll sort of get to that in a second. So initially, when we have a 3-hour wait and we can't talk, but you try to make eye contact with everyone, and so Ma and Max were giving me like the best vibes, so I kind of thought like, hey, they're the 2 people like I want to be like ride or die with. And then you were like kind of like in the leather jacket, like the sunnies on, staring everyone down, maybe like arms kind of across like that. And so like douchey. But so then and I think it's probably because I was like binging like kind of like a friend had sort of told me what the good seasons were, so I think I'd seen China, Survivor China, maybe like a couple of months ahead. So maybe I thought maybe somewhere in mind, like I was thinking like, oh yeah, Mar and like Max can be my like Amanda and Courtney, but like, you can be the like the alpha on the tribe. Who was it? Like
who am I in this scenario? Am I fucking John Robert in this scenario?
No. I mean, you were like kind of Aaron, or like maybe Vincent or John Robert, but I was just gonna suck up to you and be like, yes, CK, you're the best, CK. I'm gonna do what you say, CK. So then like I'd be safe. But then all 3 of you ended up on the yellow tribe, because my tribe was basically everyone who didn't know Laurel, and then everyone who did know Laurel, and I instantly sort of clicked with Caitlin, and that's kind of just when I kind of just went out on a limb, was like, like I'm really vibing with you, I really want to play with you. And so I solidified that really early, because we kind of like had chosen we won the reward challenge, we'd chosen where to put our camp, and then we had to we'd move like the fire pit towards where our camp was. But when we'd walked into camp, I had seen like a little scroll kind of hidden in the tree above the fire pit. And so I was kind of like waiting for an excuse to go check it out. So then I said, oh yeah, Caitlin and I will go move the fire pit over. As we were walking there, I'm like try to be subtle, Caitlin, like look up. And so we were like kind of planning on how we were gonna like stealthily like get this clue down without anyone seeing. And then like out of nowhere, Tash just comes sprinting up, picks up this like giant stick and pokes the clue out in front of us. And then after that, we were kind of like, well, I guess like we're the trio, because like we all we're the ones that know about this clue. So we became like a tight trio really early on. And then we had to bring
I'll pause you there. I've heard this story, but I haven't asked this question before. Was there not a thought of a resentment or negativity towards Tash doing this? Firstly, you and Caitlin were already clearly trying to work out how to get that advantage. She just rolls up and grabs it, then sort of shoehorns you into an alliance. Now, you like Tash, we all like Tash, I get it, but this is early meetings. She's pushed this on you. If I were to do this, I don't think people would respond, hey, we're a type 3. And she then reads the clue to you, which you then dismiss as her
No,
lying to you.
no, she doesn't read the clue to us. I think that's the yeah. So I mean, I always went into the game kind of thinking, look, I'd rather have a tight ally than an idol, because an idol can only protect you for one tribal, whereas like a tight ally can carry you through the game. And so that's why I was more than happy to share the idol clue with Caitlin, because I didn't care if she ended up finding it, as long because if that sort of bonded us. And so when Tash came over, I kind of used that as an opportunity to make another ally. But maybe you're right. Maybe there was like an conscious resentment of Tash that was just like lingering all game, and then at the first opportunity, I just when I could, I struck out. But no, I think the thing that actually made us sus a bit on Tash was that despite like saying, okay, it's us three, it's us three, us three, she never read like the clue to us. She like kind of read it in secret. She would never show us the clue, despite saying she would. And in Tasha's defense, no, she did tell us. She was like, "All right, guys," like I think she told us after the first tribal though, and she said, "Guys, the idol is the rock that's holding the parchments." And then Kayla and I just like after Tash goes, we just look at each other going like who do like that rock? Like who do you think she is? Like that's a fucking stick, like the fucking rock. Like she found the idol. Like she didn't tell us so she could find the idol first, like at the booth. And then she found it, and then she just told us to like hide the evidence. She just told us it was the rock, and we were just like, we never believed her the entire pre-merge.
You would have used it. Like, you would have used it.
Yeah.
If you believed her, you would have used it.
Yeah.
On the Annabel
like maybe in another world, Ash would have been the winner of Melbourne 3 if we had thought to use the rock to save him at their third episode.
We need to talk about that vote, because there was really nothing to lose on having given it a crack. Ash at that point. I've never considered this possibility. We'll get to this. It's a fascinating work through. But lesson for those at home: if you're going to share an advantage with people, actually share the advantage. Brady read his rock clue with me. That ingratiated, at least early, a lot of trust and loyalty, because he showed me the note. I fully understand where you're coming from. She's being secretive about. She ran up and grabbed it from in front of your face, secretive about for showing it to you, telling you a story that is somewhat dubious, and so I don't think, as you say, was the trust. I guess the trust was locked in when you later found out when she was telling the truth about the rock. That's probably when you first started, once you knew that for a fact. But throughout the pre-merge, you didn't know if you could probably trust her fully.
Wait, so when did you find out about? When did Brady read that to you? At what point?
Like the first day.
Okay, so what you're saying is you could have saved Annabel with a rock.
Brady and I didn't understand the clue.
I read it. Because you never went to tribal. That's fair enough.
I read it. If I'd gone, honestly, John, if I'd gone to tribal and see the enormous rock that was sitting on the parchments, I would have figured it out, because it wasn't just a fucking stick. Like, it was a quite particular rock. It was large.
Did it have a smiley face on it?
No, but it was sort of sandstone. It was large. You wouldn't get it. It wasn't the sort of rock you could just find in the bush there.
Yeah. Well, we thought it was a heavy rock because it was windy and the parchments were fly. But I guess to go back to what I said about my early strategy, like playing to the game you're at. So you know how you guys were like the crazy strategizing, like crazy action, like first night tribe. So my allies were Tash and Caitlin. And Tash had just gotten the COVID vaccine the day before, and she was feeling really tired, and so she decided to go to bed at 8 p.m. So then Caitlin and I wanted an excuse to go to her away from it, because there was no way for us to because our group was just sitting by the fire, so we couldn't have any strat chat. And so when Tash was like, "Oh, I'm feeling sick, I'm gonna go lie in the shelter," Caitlin and I were like, "Okay, let's go now so we can whisper to them." But then everyone kind of just joined us, so we didn't even get a chance to do that. And then actually go back to what your alpha. Did I try to make an alliance with Scott? No. So the girls wanted to bring in Kate, and I considered Kate the real alpha on the red tribe. So I didn't realize that Kate had basically never watched Survivor and was basically bullied into it by Annabel. I thought Kate was
She
like,
did. Kate did live with a person who played actual Survivor. Assuming we count
did
New
she?
Zealand as actual Survivor. She lived with
Oh, who?
Dylan and Annabelle. They all lived together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
So it's New
yeah,
Zealand, but she lived with an actual
yeah,
New
okay.
Zealand player. So she
So
would peripherally know the show, I think.
yeah,
Peripherally.
okay. But I thought like she was like if anyone's listened to Kate talk, you just think she's like the smartest person like alive. Like
Yeah.
she's so eloquent and
Yeah.
articulate. And so
Agree.
when we were coming into like on the way into camp, she was going like, so who's everyone like what's everyone's favorite season? And then when we were thinking of like the tribe name, Fuego, she was like,
Yes,
oh,
explain.
what's everyone?
How
Yeah.
did you get to? We did it because we had Ma. That's why we went with Spanish. Why
Yeah.
did you guys go with Spanish?
I'm pretty sure I think Kate said something like what are words for fire in another language, and I
Yeah.
just said fuego. I think it's because like in Eurovision 2018, like the runner-up was fuego, and so that's why I knew it was a Spanish
Okay.
word for fire. But
Yeah.
to this day, Ma's kind of upset that like we stole fuego from her. That we culturally
It was her
appropriated
thing.
fuego.
Absolutely
Um,
culturally appropriated.
but yeah, so like Kate was kind of like oh like yeah like what's your favorite like Survivor tribe? We can like use that. And like I was like, oh, Kate is so smart. She's trying to like suss out who the super fans like on this tribe are so she can vote them out. Like she's trying to get like who's your favorite tribe? Like, but it was really just Kate trying to just like connect with people like other Survivor fans. But I was like, nah, like so like I was like, no, I want to work with Kate. I want to be on a good side, but I'm terrified of her.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That is the ultimate super fan question. I'm a super fan, super duper fan. I can't tell you the names of tribes. I do not know them, and I don't care to know them. I don't want to know them. I don't learn them. They are the red tribe, etc., to me, right? So I think it's the super duper fans that have learned the tribe names. So I think you're right. I like where you were thinking. It's not what she was doing, but I like your thought process.
Yeah, so I was gonna be on a good side because she's like gonna hold the power. So, but it was basically us four, and so once we knew we had like the four, we were pretty confident. I was like, I think after the four, I was gonna be like Marina and Dale were sort of like 5 and 6, maybe Scott 7 and Ash 8, but like it was kind of like I was kind of like just like trying to make connections, but like I kind of knew that this was our four. And so I was kind of happy for any of that four to go first.
So when we'll fast forward through that. So then Scott goes, Marina goes. You're never really in danger. They're not part of your group. It seems to me that Kate largely drives the Scott one, just being that she wants it to be Scott or Dale, and Dale reveals he's got an idol to everybody, so that's an easy choice. And then on the next one, Marina, it was probably going to be Dale, but then Marina reveals to Tash that she's a bit more savvy than was letting on, that she told Dale to pick up the idol, etc. Dale passes that information on. And
yeah, because Marina
like
was like, yeah, she was working with Dale,
balance,
and so it's kind of scared us that she was going to throw Dale under the bus like that.
She was more strategic, and Dale was, you didn't know that a swap was coming. Dale was probably going to be better in a challenge. Like he's an athlete, So on balance, and he's a very obvious, trustworthy athlete. Seems like the guy to keep, right? Over the woman that's willing to throw a number one under the bus like immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I think at that point we had the numbers, so as long as it wasn't us, I think we were like, yeah.
But then you hit a swap. Great opportunity to regroup with your numbers, with your alliance. Of course, the swap, some say, was not incredibly well balanced. How did you feel to be? You weren't picked last though, John. I don't know if you've been picked last a lot.
Oh,
I've been picked last.
I wish I was, because I think last was going to go to the yellow tribe, because I actually remember thinking like, because so obviously like Laurel and Chloe got to like have like absolute like dictatorship powers over who got to be on the tribe, and so Laurel had chosen like her number 1 and 2, Rosie and Ma, and then I think Annabel was just like the last yellow. But then Laurel chose Caitlin, who I didn't know they knew each other out of the game. And then Caitlin told Laurel to pick me. But I remember like Caitlin like looking at me like and whispering to Laurel, and I'm like, don't pick me. could see immediately how stacked the yellow tribe was, and I was like, I knew we were gonna lose every single challenge. Like it's just, yeah.
Question though for you: why would fair? But Laurel had a choice between two of three. Yourself, we understand why you've been picked. Caitlin pushed that on. Tash was last. Why did Laurel pick Ashley over Tash
Um,
and send Ashley to us?
did Ash? I think Ash had met Laurel at like a
Yes,
social gathering or something. Maybe I don't know. You should probably have to ask Laurel.
I think you're right about that.
Or maybe like Laurel just likes the fun anyway. So whatever's the more like crazy choice, I think. I mean, we were the people of color with the tribe, right? Like you guys just had all the white people.
Correct. I know we had Rosie. Thank you. And
no, Rosie like swapped onto our tribe.
Oh, yes. Chloe picked all the whiteys. That's where Chloe was at.
Yeah.
So you've been picked second last. You're on this tribe, and you're thinking to yourself, I believe we're going to lose every challenge. Now, did you actually think you were going to lose every challenge?
Yeah, I without a doubt in my mind. Like you just saw like how quickly we lost the tug of war challenge, and then when I see Brady, like Max, you, even Dale, like on that tribe, I was like, yeah, we're fucked.
With Kate as well. Kate, very strong woman.
Yeah, like Kate, who's like super athletic. And so I was like, yeah, we are fucked. And I think like it dawned on me that like how screwed, like even doing the challenge when we were struggling with like even doing the balance beam, and I was like, oh, this is so bad, because usually when you get into a swap, even if you're in the minority, like the first thing you do is you see if you can find cracks in the majority, right? But like because of the way the swap worked, like I was like, there aren't any cracks. Laurel got to handpick her tribe, and like not only that, but like it's probably not always in camera, but like the way a lot of the tribals kind of went was we were told like, oh, like tribals in like 15 or 20 minutes, like scrambling. There's no time to look for idols. We're just trying to chat as many people as possible, and then we get frustrated because we would like walk to tribal council and then we'd sit like in like lockout, no speaking for like 40 minutes, waiting for like the tribal council like camera and everything to get ready, and we were like, we could have spent this time at camp strategizing. So I was like, yeah, like we don't have time to.
Sorry, that was your experience at playing with fire in the pre-merge?
Yeah,
because in the post-merge that wasn't happening from my recollection.
Yeah, I think it was a lot smoother by then, but like we would like 40 minutes an hour, like waiting for every tribal, and we barely had enough time at camp. And so I was like, yeah, like there aren't any cracks. I can't look for idols. Like we're like a challenge, we're fucked. So my goal, right, was I didn't even try to like flip any of them. I was like, yeah, look, they're gonna be nice, especially for the first vote. So my plan for that swap episode was I just didn't talk to Caitlin and Ash at all. Because I knew one of us was going, and I knew that like if it looked like Caitlin and I were tied, they would break us up immediately. And so I spent the entire time talking to like every single one of the yellows, to the point where like this is kind of skipping ahead to the next episode, but like I like full Drew Christie did, and I thought like I just get dunked in the edit. But then like after I like so we realized we suck at physical challenges. So Annabel gets us to do like stand in like a field and form like a prayer circle, and we're manifesting what we want. And I said, like, all right, I'm manifesting a slide puzzle because that's like the one thing I think I can do. That's our only shot to win these physical challenges. And then like when we actually get to the challenge and it is a slide puzzle, like Caitlin tried to volunteer for it, and I like shut her down. Like, no, I practice this. I can do it like 15 seconds or something like that. And I had so many confessionals beforehand leading up to saying that. And so when I like fucked up that challenge so badly, I was like, I'm gonna be so bad. This is gonna be my boot episode, and it's gonna be full Drew Christie. It's episode 4 as well. But then you just have like everyone.
Drew Christie, are you saying you threw the slide puzzle? Drew Christie threw the challenge. She didn't throw the challenge.
Yeah, no, I wasn't cool enough to be Drew Christie then. Yeah, no, I just sucked at that challenge so badly. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure I am the losingest LRG person in like history. I'm 1 from 18 tribal and individual challenges. Yeah, so I think anyone's worse than that. But I thought I was going to get dunked on the edit. Let's just my like, OTT N5 episode. But then I just had so much like positive second person kind of whatever they call it thing where like everyone was going like Rosie was like, oh, John's so brave for volunteering for like that, the hero position is really tough. And I was like, but I think a lot of that was just like the work I had done to like try to ingrate myself really well with the yellows. Because yeah, like I think they were nervous that we were like all going to be tight, and that we had an idol, and so they were worried that like who to vote for because they were worried we'd just play the idol on that person. And so when Kaylin and I voted for Ash,
yeah, let's talk about the Ash though, and what we were talking about before. If you had an idol, well, you did have an idol. You had an idol that none of the yellows knew about because Tash had told you about the rock. Now, let's say, I think you would agree that you should have tried it at the very least. Like that was the information you were given. You didn't believe it, but you should have. It was worth a shot, right? There's nothing to be lost. Adam Klein played the podium. There's nothing to be lost by having a crack. Now, let's say, where would you do it? Would you save Ashley or would you save it for the next tribal? What do you think?
Yeah, so I was gonna say if it was me, Caitlin, and Tash, I would have. But
Tash just would have been driving.
Ash, so this wasn't quite clear, and I didn't even know this initially. The first round, Ash was actually throwing out my name. But like it just got shut down before it ever like reached me. But like after we came back from the Scott boot, Ash actually went up to me and apologized for throwing my name out. So like I think like I just wasn't that close to Ash anyway, and then I found out Ash was throwing my name out. So I think like I'm less willing to like go out on a limb to save Ash. And so but also what I was telling the yellow people was, no, I really want to work with you. Like I don't see red, I don't see color, I don't see like red or yellow. Like I mean, I really did want to work with Mart, like right from the start. And Laurel, Rosie, Annabel, all like cool people too. So I was just like thinking, like if I kind of do anything that makes it look like no, we're red strong, it's just gonna be red, 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 red. Whereas like I was gonna like no, like I really want to work with you. And so I was hoping that like we're probably gonna go to a lot more tribals, but if I can show that they can work with me rather than being red versus yellow, then it's going to be better. Whereas if I try to play the rock idol, like it just, it's a very firm, like hard line.
Yeah, I get it. So you don't want to take the risk of it being a bomb because then not only is it a bomb, who cares, but also you showed a lack of trust. You're trying to break them up. What if you knew for sure it was an idol? Where do you think you're playing it in this pre-merge?
I would still save it for the next one and use it on me or Kayla and kind of do like a Haley Lake 50-50 kind of idol.
Yeah.
And actually, no, I knew it was going to be Caitlin because like Ma even told me to vote for Caitlin that round. But then it's because like Laurel, I mean I can talk about it now. So like Laurel was like itching, to make like a crazy move because Laurel's that kind of ORCA player.
She was bored.
And so
she would do something.
And so like and Ma sort of like was like, like pulled in it because like Laurel wasn't going to go to rocks. Like I think ideally it was going to be like 4-2 kind of thing, but Ma was like no, we're going to do it like the next round. But then like like Laurel was like how do you still feel like, and I'm like no, like Kayla and I, we're still with you, Laurel. And I was like saying like, if you do this, like we are going to be such a tight 3, like and we're going to like, like it's such a show of trust that we would like feel in depth to you and like, play this game with you. And like, and Laurel was sort of like really worried that like I just wouldn't do it. And that then like the votes would be red and then like she would cop the backlash. So a lot of it was like being really like locking down that we're going to do it. So like you see that when after like the first vote and it comes out like 3-3, I like loudly say, yeah, I'm not flipping. Like just to like make it really clear to Laurel. And I mean that's when Ma I think realized she had to flip because she didn't want to go to rocks.
Laurel's move here is excellent. It's Ma doesn't want to go along with it, not because she's interested in saving Annabel, because she doesn't want to blindside Rosie, who she doesn't think would go along with it and who wouldn't. And so Ma is given basically plausible deniability by this move, and Laurel still pulls off her move that she wants to make. It's a real master full move by Laurel to get all the outcomes, and in a way that was palatably acceptable to everyone. Rosie didn't know about it, so she didn't blindside her friend. Ma only does it on the revote, which any Survivor fan will say is a fine time to actually flip, and not pre-flipping, not making a big move, but doing it for self-preservation. And for the two of you, Caitlin and yourself, to stick strong, Laurel's convinced you to do that, to convince you that she's with you, she's going to make the move. It's a perfectly played move. It's very impressive by Laurel.
Yeah, like obviously it's the defining move of the season. You might say it's the most ORCA move of the season by Laurel. But
it's not ORCA.
Yeah, like
it's not ORCA because it's not strong arming. Well, it is. She strong arms Ma. But the rest of
she
it,
literally strong armed Ma to flip. She's like, Ma, you don't want to do this, but I'm going to force you to do it anyway.
Yeah, fine. It is a strong arming move, whatever. But I'll accept that. Yeah. So this happens now. At this point, did you think I am locked for another 2 votes at least, or were you like, nah, look, we lose another one, and Laurel's just going to go back to flipping on us because flip flop.
So when we like that, I actually think episode 5, when it was like the Rosie boot was probably the closest I came to, or maybe that and Final 5 were like the 2 times I came closest to going out of the game, because I was like terrified that look, like Ma and Rosie are Laurel's number 1 and 2. Like she wasn't that close with Annabel, but like now she's got used us to get rid of Annabel. She could easily just flip back to her number 1 and 2, who she handpicked, right? Like she's only just met me like an hour and a half ago. And so that round, I was spending all my energy just convincing Laurel. Now, like you've done this, Laurel, like Caitlin and I, we are locked with you. Like you know, we have the numbers. We don't have to be. I was gonna, because Laurel was worried, like, oh, I've upset Ma and Rosie, and I was like, you know, don't worry about that. Like we have, it's a tribe of 5. We are 3. Like Caitlin and I are with you all the way. Like it doesn't matter how angry, like, and I remember specifically using that word. It doesn't matter how angry or pissed off like Rosie and Ma at you. They can't do anything if we are locked together. So I was just like the whole time I was trying to use language was like it's us 3, it's us 3, it's us 3 to try to not get Laurel to flip back.
How much do you think Laurel was interested in working with you versus interested in working with Caitlin, and you were part of the package?
I mean, like, I think like I didn't know this at the time, but like definitely I could see Caitlin was closer with Laurel. But like Laurel also sort of had like, you know, we are like, you know, the like 2 like queer people of color like on the season. Oh no, it was Rosie too, but like but you know, like I think
at the
like,
time Laurel was a man, so it was 2 Asian queer men. Like I get the synergy there.
And so like I think like there was also like bonding like about that, and like especially when we're facing like, you know, the all white giant like like the Goliath, like, you know, like we are the Davids, like. And so I think there was even from the start there was much kind of that underdog trio kind of against the odds kind of thing. I was trying to set up. But I definitely like I would say, you know, when Rosie goes, like I was probably closer to Ma than Laurel. Like I definitely knew like Laurel and Caitlin were close. I didn't know why, but like I definitely could like, you know, read that they were closer.
That's the next part of the episode, the coverage. So we'll go there. Ma is begging you to stay. You have a fun little confessional with Caitlin about how, you know, you guys are the decision makers about who here is going to go. You know, was there any thought given by you? You felt close with Ma. Was there any thought given by you about trying to keep Ma in any way?
I mean, like I like especially like I remember when, it was like Ma and Rosie, because I had a good relationship with Rosie too. Like I actually wanted to like we were so hoping it was win and like keep winning to the end, because like we thought this 5 was a good 5 we could all work with, and especially like I really wanted to work long term with Ma, but it just like, and I did sort of go in my head kind of doing like the math like you know, is there any point? But like I used to be like you can't, like, because the best case scenario is going to be a 2-2, and then on a like if it goes to rocks, then they're safe. So it just didn't make sense. And then I realized like Laurel, Caitlin, and I were already like a trio. Like there was already like a story. Like we did that flip together, and like I just felt like the 3 would lock us like together more long term. Whereas like Ma, like I felt, because she was saying like I've got Max, I've got like CK, or I've got Brady or whatever. Like that'll be helpful for the merge. But if anything, that made me kind of think, oh, but then she's got other options. Was I felt like Laurel had done such a public betrayal of Yellow that I felt Laurel would be more likely to stick with us. But it was like, I remember Caitlin and I, like, that was kind of like the first moment of like where we could breathe since the swap, because we felt like we were just scrambling the entire time of our lives. And we were like an hour ago, we were like fighting for our lives at the Rosie vote. And now we're like, how do we have all the power? But yeah.
I think Ma would have had a lot of options had she made the merge. I don't necessarily think that she would stick with you. She would be looking. The merge was very dynamic, and she would have been looking to make as many dynamic moves as everybody else was looking to make. And she certainly would have had room to come back to us. But to be honest, though, Laurel had room to come back to us. I certainly reached out to Laurel very early on in the merge, saying, "I love what you're doing. You're playing a huge game. It's massive. Like, mad respect. I still want to work, let's work together. Let's go to the end together. I'm not afraid of big players." I was having that narrative, and it wasn't bullshit. Like, I was like, I don't care what you've done. Like, you're impressive. And I thought I was so good that I could just go to the end with anyone. So I'm like, I'll go with you. I would have got creamed. But at the time, I just thought that I was like up here, but I was down. So we hit merge, and I steal your banana, and you're very outraged by this. It ruins any chance we have to work together. Not the fact that we didn't actually have a conversation. The first conversation we actually had was after the Max vote, when I came up to you and said, "Hey, I just tried to like arrange a vote on you, but like obviously that didn't work. So let's be friends. Like, thanks, mate." No, we didn't really talk too much. Despite we said at final, we didn't talk that much.
Banana. But no, I don't think you realize like how hangry I was, because so even on the first day, like no one knew how to like cook rice like in a fire pot, like a pot of water over fire. Because like I remember everyone looked at me like, how do you make rice? I'm like, because I'm Asian, and I'm like, I put it in a rice cooker and I press a button, and then so it was actually Kate that like led the cooking, and she told me like, oh, is that the absorption method or the boiling method or whatever? And anyway, it ended up being like really gluggy and not that appetizing. So and then we also fucked up the lentils when we tried that on the morning of the first day. So I basically barely, like, I ate like this much rice, and then throughout the entire second day, because we kept going to tribal after tribal after tribal after tribal, we never had a time to actually cook rice. So we were like so hungry and cold and tired. And then you guys are like, not only have you been eating rice all day, but you get this giant ass Costco muffins to yourself at tribal. You're eating it in front of us while we're having like,
it didn't feel good. It didn't sit right.
Yeah. And then like, so it gets to the merge feast. Like, we have been looking forward to this the entire day. I sit down, I'm about to like, go, and you just went like yoink and like take it out in front of me, and then give me like the plate with the apple on it. And I don't really like apples, but like I was like, fine. Like I can't make any enemies yet. I won't say anything, but like I was picked up, especially because like I think like because the Costco muffin was so full, and then I didn't think you liked the lentil dal thing, and then I think you had a few chocolates, and then like you didn't even open the banana. You was like, oh, I'm full. Who wants this? And then you gave it to Max, and I'm just like, that's the entire reason you stole my plate. I didn't realize that you thought like the clue was like under it or something.
Yeah,
but I was like,
I checked all the plates. You got there too quick for me. I didn't check your plate. I knew you were savvy. I'm like, maybe he's got the plate. I need to get this
no,
plate
I was
right.
just hungry. That's why.
And I made up the banana bullshit, like to try and cover what I was doing. You know how subtle I am normally. But like that was largely what was actually going on, I think. But because I was so focused on the potential of an advantage, I was not being cognizant of the social misplacement I was doing at the time because I was, so game focused. I appreciate that you were completely the opposite of game focused. You were game drained. I was itching to play. You were like itching to fucking not play.
Yeah. So like I think they had to like to save time, they had to drive us back because the other thing was like the red camp was like by far like the really far off camp. Like the yellow one was kind of close to tribal in the challenge area. So like we were just constantly doing like massive walks back and forth because we kept going back to tribal. But so we had to go back to fetch our sleeping bags, which were actually soaked by that point because our shelter had collapsed because we hadn't had time to fix it. And then I remember in the car ride back, I was basically just going like fuck CK, fuck CK, and Laurel was like, oh, he's actually not that bad. Like, he's kind of nice. But, like, I think by that point, you weren't even a person anymore. You were, like, the embodiment of all that was wrong in the world. Like, and so I was, and, like, that was, like, my very first encounter with you, like, was confirmed, like, it was, confirmatory bias. And so, like, we didn't get to a start. So then when we, like, camped in, like, the little, like, makeshift shelter thing overnight. I put myself between Max and Chloe. I think Chloe probably wanted to spoon with Max, but I put myself purposely between them when we were doing the sleeping bags because I wanted to better whisper to both of them like overnight because I was like, we're gonna go try by dawn again. Like I need to and so Max and I like.
How exposed did you feel? We're in the merge. You're coming in 3 to 6, 3 to 7. But on old trouble lines, it's 5-5. But obviously, one of those yellows is Laurel. Like, how confident did you feel about your position in the game at that stage?
I actually felt surprisingly good. I think it's because, like, in Caitlin and I's minds, it was just like, we have to get back to merge to get back with the Reds. Like, like we were just like crawling, like, our way to merge. So when we like, I think I mentioned the episode, I haven't seen it in years, but like, I think when Caitlin and I link up with Tash again, we're like holding hands and jumping up and down. Like, we're so thrilled. And Tash says, like Kate's like on lock with us, and I said to like Tash, like Laurel's locked with Caitlin and I, and so Dale was probably like the most like up in the air because they weren't sure about Dale because they said, oh, Dale's been spending a lot of time talking to CK, so that was probably like the most iffy, but like and Tash kind of talks to this I think at final tribe counts, but probably like the biggest thing I did that merge round was trying to convince everyone that look, like. And I knew I'd be the target because I went to Chloe, and like Chloe like was really cagey and couldn't give me like even a fake name, so I knew it was me. But so I was just kind of like, all right, let's at least get to rocks. And if I can convince my group to go to rocks, like I'll be safe as well because it'll be on a when it goes to rocks. But also, like I was just kind of telling them, look, like Yellow haven't been to a single tribal. They haven't tested their loyalties. Like we have been voting together. Like we'll stick strong. And even if like maybe Dale votes with them the first time, like he was not going to go to rocks for like a yellow person. He's as you sort of saw in the first round. Like I think like he would prioritize his safety by like playing the idol to make sure he goes. Like he wouldn't draw a rock to save Max. So like. I just needed to convince, like, because they were worried about 5-5 going to rocks, but I was like, no, like, we have been playing the entire time together. We've, backed each other at votes. Like, we will stay strong. Like, they'll flip. Like Ma did. Like, I was like, yeah, like Ma flipped because that was their kind of like their first point in danger. And so I felt pretty good.
And you were the obvious target, I think, if you work it through, because we're not going to vote for Kate, Tash, or Dale because we have some relationship with them. There was a belief based on somebody's detective work that Laurel had the original yellow idol. We knew Kate.
Yeah, even we thought that too.
Caitlin had got
I think you must have
something
spread it,
from-
and then we heard it too.
Caitlin got something from the challenge, so
Yeah.
by default, you're the only one worth voting for, like
Yeah.
of all those targets. But
Yeah.
equally,
So, sorry.
equally though, you know, your position in the game at that stage and perception-wise, and this is something you had to overcome to win the game. And I want to talk about when you started doing this, because the perception of you by us, by the people that were over that tribe, was that you had been a passive player, that you've been brought along by Laurel and her moves. I'm not saying this is what was the case, but this was the perception. I think you had an awareness of the perception, and your two choices as a player at that point are to either change the perception by becoming a big player, or just get rid of everybody else that's like perceived as bigger than me, and then I'll win, which is what you did do. Was that the plan at this point?
No, so actually, like, I thought, like, so maybe, like, and I think this is because, like, so I think the last I watched Heroes versus Villains, then I watched Philippines, Cagayan, San Juan del Sur, and I think I finished on Cambodia, but like Philippines was like, you know, the last few weeks, so I think it was still like in my mind. So the whole time, I think I just like had in my head, like, you know, Ken and Denise, we're gonna be like if we get to the end, we would have been, because I knew, because we'd gone to all 6 Primo tribals. If we got to the end, that meant we went to all 13 tribals. I was like, they're not gonna like let us get in. We went to all 13 tribals, so I knew, like, you know, I stuck with Kayla, and I thought, like, well, we're also sort of in it with Laurel, because like there's no other way. No one else would want to sit with us other than Laurel, who's also got like a massive story to tell of like her massive move at the Annabel vote. So I kind of said, like, to them, like, you know, like, no one's gonna, like, they're all gonna come for us. Like, no one's gonna let us get to the final 3. We have to stick together. So that actually originally was my goal. But then what happened was, like, relatively early day 2. Oh, no, so day 3 now. I could just like sense different vibes of Caitlin. So like she wasn't like really strategizing with me as much. So she had told me that she had gotten an idol from the challenge. And like, you usually, right, like if you say like you're an idol and you're telling your like your supposed, like, you know, close ally, you know, it's kind of exciting. You get like oh, you know, I can use you, you know, or can you make a big move together, and like she kind of just told me in like a matter of fact way, and so I kind of just read like kind of weird vibes of that, and so I didn't know, but I was like, there's something she's not telling me. And like, if she's telling me it's an idol, it must be something even like crazy in that. I never thought anything as crazy as a voodoo idol. But like, you know, when like say like if someone has an idol, they might say, oh yeah, I got an extra vote or something, just to, like, you know, downplay the threat level. So if she's just like throwing casually, oh yeah, I got an idol, I was like, oh, there's something more to the story. And the key thing that made me realize she wasn't with me was in the next vote. So this is after Max. I am sort of skipping ahead a bit, but
so I go, Max goes, I go, which is, these are nothing events for your
no, but I think your vote, so that's probably where my game changed. So after Max goes, now you are scrambling, you're coming, you like beeline to me, you go, yeah, I just voted for you, but like, you know, let's work together. And then so I don't think Chloe gets enough credit for this. So she kind of more casually comes up to me afterwards and says, like, look, we know it's between Brady and CK. So I think, you know, she had one, had enough awareness to know that immediately, and then 2, she said, look, if you like get the votes onto CK rather than Brady, like Brady and I are 2 votes, we will like work with you. We will help you get rid of, you know, anyone like you want in your alliance down the track. And so
it's very smart from Chloe to come to you.
It's a great move from Chloe.
If you take that plan to the wrong person, it's like, we got too strong. It's like, I don't want to have too strong. I'll just break you and Brady up, because you and Chris are feuding with each other anyway. Chris is feuding with the 2 of you, so it doesn't matter which one we take out. You guys aren't working together. So, but coming to you with that plan, you're in a position where you need people to make some moves.
Yeah.
So it's really effective for you.
It was a brilliant move by Chloe, and so that round, so I knew, everyone knew, right? Like, you know, even you knew, like we were splitting between you and Brady. And so obviously I want it to be you so that like Brady and Chloe work with me. But then like usually when you're doing a split, it's very important people know who is voting like person A, who is voting person B. And like Caitlin and Tash never seem to like be concerned. Oh yeah, like the numbers working. I'm like, oh yeah, I really prefer if it was CK, but like they just didn't seem bothered. Obviously, I didn't know at the time, but like it's because like
Yeah.
they were playing the voodoo idol, so in their heads it doesn't matter who the votes are. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna stack all the votes on one person. But I could sort of see them like they were strategizing, but then when I would try to strategize, what are the numbers? Like they wouldn't say anything, and I was like, oh, Caitlin's like ditched me. She's moved in with Tash and Kate. It's gonna be like a girls kind of like power
You're the
trio.
only person of that 5, taking Dale out of it, that 5, that wasn't aware of the voodoo power, it seems.
Kate didn't get told, but I thought Kate knew. Laurel got told. I didn't know Laurel had been
Laurel knew
told.
right away. Laurel was the first person.
Yeah, Laurel was still Caitlin's number 1. But I kind of went to Dale and Laurel and said, "Oh, look, something's up. Like, I think the girls have like got their thing going. Like, I think like, and I said to like Laurel, like, Caitlin's ditched us, and like, because I literally pointed at like Caitlin and like Tash whispering to each other. I was like, yeah, like, and that's why the next episode, like, Laurel was like, oh yeah, the reason why I made this move is because like Caitlin's ditched me for Tash. I'm like, no, like Caitlin was still so for Laurel. And I included in Dale too because I thought like, we're gonna sort out the, the you Brady kind of vote first, but like, maybe final 8 or final 7, like definitely at the latest final 7 because there's 3 of them, so we need 4 votes. So I was already cluing in Laurel and Dale that this was the plan, so they kind of knew about it. But then when the double back-to-back tribal round happened and we weren't allowed to strategize, and plus I'd seen like Brady's idol, I was like, oh, this is the time to make the move. And so like Chloe, Brady, and we all looked at each other and we kind of knew like we're voting Tash. And sort of like, so I guess I was like, I think it's because I'd been to so many tribals at that point. I was always kind of thinking like several tribals ahead. I was going like, well, who's next and who's next, because I think I was just like so paranoid all the time to make sure like everything was like locked down. And I think like that the kind of like the prep work I had done sort of really helped me at that round when we didn't get time to sort of strategize. Because I think if like we had time to strategize, Brady might have been able to like have more options of working with Tash and stuff, and he might have been like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He might have had time to make a cooler move. Yeah.
Tash was the person he was by far closest to of that red group. He'd put a lot of work into Tash. He put a lot of work into her. Like he'd been part of the gaslighting, but he'd been more of a subtle gaslight, where I was like the extreme gaslight, which actually worked quite well because she wasn't getting the same level of gaslighting from everyone when we were trying to do that pre-merge move. But so he then built on that relationship. The way I was trying to build off Dale, I've been gaslighting Dale, but I've been really pumping Dale up. So I was I flipped that, try to dupe him into being a friend when I got to merge. Brady did the same thing with Tash and really like put his full, head in her hands. And I think that if that had been a normal tribal, I think he would have had trouble voting for Tash. I think he might have run over to Tash and said, John's doing this. What can we do together? Like, I think that could have happened.
Yeah, no, so 100%. Like I think the Tash vote literally only happened because I told Chloe, look, yep, I will work with you and Brady. I'll get the votes onto CK if you help me get rid of Tash like the next time. And I think because there wasn't enough time, like that was the only name that was in the air. And when people don't have time, like whatever name has been shopped around is the name you go for. But I was terrified. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have known what the numbers were going to be. Like, sure. Yeah. Like you hoped, but you didn't know, right? You can't know. So it goes ended up being 3-3-2, right? 3-3-2. Brady immune. Chloe has 2 votes. Tash has 3. It comes out perfect. But what did you feel in the moment was going to be the sort of numbers?
I mean, I thought that they were just going to pile. I didn't even think they were going to split. I thought that like with no time to like, we didn't even coordinate the splitting on you and Brady, right? So like, I thought with no like. When I was actively trying to like sort out that, so I kind of thought everyone's piling on Brady because he was the only other name being shopped around, and so I thought like I knew Brady like was going to play the idol, so I thought like Brady would cancel out like 5 votes on him or whatever, and then our 3 votes would win. I didn't realize they were going to put the 2 votes on Chloe. So good job them for trying to split. But actually, what the actual best use of the voodoo idol would have actually have been at the max vote, because by the time of you versus Brady, we had the numbers to split anyway. Like, we didn't need an idol. But at the merge vote, when it was like either 5 versus 5 or 6 versus 4, and we didn't have numbers to split, using the voodoo doll there, would have actually guaranteed us like the win, because we would have just taken all the votes on me and just put it onto you, and then it would have been like 6 votes max, 3 votes you. And even if Brady had played an idol, like, he couldn't have done anything. Whereas there, if they'd stacked all the votes on Brady and Brady played the idol, then like Laurel's vote and Caitlin sends Caitlin home.
In retrospect, Brady, and I think he is his biggest regret of the game, is he should have played the idol on Max.
Yeah.
But of course, Brady, you guys were actually voting for Dale, so he was hardly going to waste his idol in that scenario.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that would have been an interesting role, and I guess I could have gone home there. Although maybe then Caitlin stands up and then plays the idol on me. Because it was only like good for 2 tribals anyway.
Yeah. So what would have happened, I think, is if Brady played the idol on
Dale.
Mac. Let's assume Brady was with the program, and he plays the idol on Max. Then Caitlin would stand up and move. Your vote.
You'd get the 3 votes.
Yeah, and I'll go. That would have been the smart play in that scenario.
Yeah. So, but at least you would have been like, yeah, like I went home, like, because it's like being played.
It would have been a good way to go out. It would have been a good way to go out.
But yeah, so like, with that move, I was like, I didn't know that Brady and Tash were close, but I was terrified that Brady could then, like, we're going to a final 7, and then now Brady has like so much ammunition to like, reveal that like I was the one that like had masterminded this and like told him Tash. Because like when Caitlin asked me afterwards, I could have like solved this like story of like, oh yeah, look, yeah, like I was gonna vote Brady, but then like I could see him like literally reaching into his bag and like having an idol, so I knew like that was a work, and he like maybe he's told me Tash and he made me vote Tash, like and I could see Caitlin, like I think she read it, like she didn't quite trust my story, and so I was so terrified that it would only take one convo between Brady and Chloe to tell them, oh yeah, like John was the one that threw out Tash's name. So what I did, because that round, everyone was like, nah, everyone had already decided at that point, final 7, Kate's got to go. Kate's the biggest threat. She's going to win like all the challenges. And so like everyone wanted, like, maybe not Caitlin, but everyone else wanted Kate out. So that was the plan. Like Brady was like locking in with Laurel, locking in with Dale. Yeah, it's like Kate's got to go if she doesn't win immunity. And so what I had done was, even before the challenge, I went up to Kate and Caitlin and told him, like, Kate, you need to win immunity, because if you don't, like Brady's got the numbers to move on you. And that was actually like really important, because that meant like, because Brady actually tried to work with Kate and Caitlin after Kate won immunity, but like, and I was like paranoid the whole time because I could see them talking, but Kate wasn't having a bar at, because like I had already like told her like, no, Brady's coming for you, and so she just didn't trust Brady after that point. And then when they had to shop around a name, Brady and Chloe shopped around Caitlin's name, so that also was like, Caitlin didn't quite buy my story with the Tash thing, but like Brady and Chloe are literally coming for Kate and Caitlin, so they sort of had no choice to work with us. And so in that way, like Laurel, Dale, and I were sort of like the 3 in the middle between 2 tight pairs. And like theoretically, if like they could get on the same page, the 2 tight pairs could like join together and be a 4 versus 3. But I think like I sort of just like wedged too much like distrust and animosity between them, that like they couldn't work together, so then they had to work with us.
I think the problem, though, that this I love all this strategy, but I think it's what it didn't help the perception. If you were trying to help the perception, which I'm not sure you were, was that you made a move and you immediately backed off of it. You made it Brady's move, and that was what the word coming into the jury was. Tash is like, who took me out? And the story is, it was Brady that took you out. And Brady wasn't really denying it when he got there either, because he's like, hey, this was my move. Like, I took you out. Like he's happy that he's got a move, right? And he probably thinks he's done it just as much. He was actually saying, it was a team effort, and we had talks about it. But yeah, I did. That was like where he was at coming in. So again, you backpedal to play down any threat level, but it means that the perception of you is still of someone who's not really doing anything when you're actually doing everything, which is great gameplay, except perception is reality.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, in my eyes, I guess like what I'd sort of seen, and I think it's because was I think Cambodia was the last season I watched before I went out, and like when people make big moves and suddenly like now like they go next kind of thing, like, and so like I was worried like when people make moves at like 9, 8, 7, like they never make it to the end to even tell the story.
Yeah.
And so usually it's like the person that makes like a smaller move in the finale or something that like gets to like use that at a final tribal council. So I was just trying to hide. Yeah, definitely was trying to hide, and I think it obviously affected the jury's perception of me. But I was just kind of thinking like I'm already gonna have like the Denise story of going to 13 tribals. Like I can't have like the big move at 8. Like that's just gonna like cause me to, because like I knew I wasn't winning any challenges. Like I can't afford to make like Tony made a big move at 9 in Winners at War, but like he can challenges, he can find idols and play idols. Like that's not me. So I was like if people think like I'm more of a threat, then they'll vote me out.
I think that challenge that Tony wins at Winners at War in the extortion is the first time he's ever won an immunity challenge.
Yeah. But then I think he won 3 or 4 in Winners
one from
at War.
There, he got on a roll.
Yeah.
He got on a roll. So to be fair, he played his first season with Wu. You're not beating Wu at much. It depends who you play with, right? Okay, so then
Spencer and Tasha won I think 6 challenges in that.
Tasha's a beast, and Spencer's like elite at any puzzle. Like so, yeah. So you've made that move, and now you managed to turn it on Brady through connecting again with Kate and Caitlin. Brady goes, and now we're coming into the final 6, and the only vote that you don't vote correctly on, it's a 3-2-1. But your position has always been you deliberately misvoted on this vote. I never really understood what you were blathering about when you've told me this until last week when we were chatting it through on the deep dive. So why don't you tell us about this is quite a special 3-2-1, which you orchestrate but vote incorrectly on purpose.
Yeah. So look, at that point, like if Kate had lost immunity again at Final 6, she was definitely going. But once Kate won, it was very clear that the next biggest threat was Laurel. And like everyone knew this, Laurel knew this. And but I could already tell from that round that like Kate, Caitlin, and Chloe like an all girls like final 3 thing going. And so I was like telling Laurel and Dale like, and this is when Laurel wasn't openly a trans woman yet. It's a like guys versus girls thing. Like we can't lose the numbers here, because if we lose the numbers here, it'll be the final 5, and then the girls have the numbers to run the show. So I said, look, we have to be willing to go for rocks to save Laurel, because otherwise, like we're screwed. And I chose Caitlin, and more. It was more of a selfish thing on my behalf too, because I knew if Laurel went at 6 and Kate won immunity again at 5, I was going. Like I knew like guaranteed like they're going for me before Dale. And so I was kind of self-interested that I didn't want Laurel to go because I needed Laurel there as a shield. And so initially, like I was like, all right, 3-3, let's go to rocks. And I chose Caitlin rather than Chloe, because I thought if it was actually 3-3, Chloe would easily flip, because she's not going. She literally just tried to vote Caitlin out. She's not going to go to rocks to save Caitlin.
You wouldn't go to
rather
rocks,
than
ever.
She was very
clear.
Whereas if it was 3-3 on Chloe, Caitlin would 100% go to rock. She wouldn't give a shit about the rest of herself. Yeah. So like it had to be Caitlin so that Chloe would flip to us on a revote. But second to that, Caitlin, she's made it very clear. It's kind of the theme of her catchphrase of the season. She wants rocks. So separately, she's going to go to Laura and I, and she knew like the vote was the other 3 were voting Laurel too. She's like, no, I don't want to vote like let's not vote Laurel out. That's not fun. Let's go for fun. So Laurel and I were like, well, why don't we just vote out Chloe? It'll be 3-3. And then we can Laurel we've been tight since like the Annabel vote. Like let's go to rocks together. It'll be so fun. It'll be like going to rocks again after we were like like we were prepared to go for rocks for the Annabel vote, and then Ma flipping fucked it up, and we didn't get to go to rocks. So let's go to rocks now. How cool would that be? And so
So it
like
would have
Caitlin
been
was all
this scenario that you're pitching. It would have been the original your three that survived the red against Chloe,
Chloe.
Dale, and Kate. Yeah, Chloe, Dale, and Kate. And you three would vote for Chloe, and you'd assume the other three would be voting for Laurel. So rocks
Yes.
would be between yourself, Caitlin, and Dale, because Kate's immune.
Yes. And so
you're-
Kaylin was like, yeah, I'm happy to go for rocks. Like, I want to say I can go rocks,
Three.
and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to go for rocks too because I didn't get to go for rocks last time. And
Yeah.
so like, yeah, in Kaylin's like eyes, she was voting for Chloe, thinking that Laurel and I were also voting for Chloe, and there'd be 3-3 rocks after Laurel and Chloe tied. But Laurel and I knew, no, we're voting Caitlin, and we thought Dale was with us, so we thought, before we said like, look, it's going to be risky, like, but guys versus girls 3-3, we have to prepare to go for rocks. Now we're like, it's not even like we're not even risking anything because Caitlin's going to vote Chloe, so like, even just like we'll 3-2-1 it. With the 3 on Caitlin, 2 on Laurel, 1 on Chloe. But then like kind of at the last like minute, like Dale like chickened out and make the move. And like, look, like I was like, that was like the one point, like after that the round where Laurel still goes, I like that was probably like the one time of the game like I accidentally like just like lost control of my emotions, and I was like, because I thought like Dale had sunk my game and I was going next, and I
If
probably
Dale
like
did the right thing, if Dale did the right thing on your plan, isn't it becoming a 2-2-2?
no, because Dale was going to vote Caitlin with us, so it would have been 3 on Caitlin, 2 on Laurel, the 2 being Kate and Chloe on Laurel, and Caitlin being the sole vote on Chloe.
Yeah.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So that
Yeah.
Dale flipped.
Yeah.
Dale
And
flipped
to
on
be
the 3.
fair, like after that, like after I calmed down, I realized that it makes sense that like Dale, like, would rather the simpler vote on Laurel because Dale wasn't going to be the one going at final 5 next. Like it was me, and like Dale kind of backs himself like to win final immunity challenge. So like it makes sense like to target like Laurel for Dale. But like I remember like I just thought, all right, my game's gone here. Like Kate's gonna win immunity again, and the girls are gonna vote me out. So I thought like that's why I was pushing so hard for this move.
Either way, though, what you orchestrated was on that vote, either it was going to be Caitlin or it was going to be Laurel. You're going to lose one of them, but the other would still be there to be a shield for you. So, and you weren't in danger unless you went to rocks, which probably wasn't going to happen anyway. But your name was not being up there as a vote option in a final 6 when you weren't immune.
Yeah. But I didn't think Caitlin would be a shield for me at 5. Not because I thought Caitlin, like I still think Caitlin played like the best game in our season, but I think like I just knew that like Kate and Caitlin were tight, and I knew there was a girls thing going on, so I just felt that like if we can't vote out Kate, the girls are just going to vote me out. And so, and even then, like, so that was probably the closest I got to getting out of the game because, Kate, like, for the first time all game since Brady won the first immunity challenge, Kate loses immunity. And immediately we all go, all right, it's obvious, like, take out Kate. But unfortunately, Caitlin had 1 immunity, but not only has she 1 immunity, she had found the hidden immunity idol, like really snatched it right inside my eyes. I when I actually see the clip, I actually don't like. I think I'm staring, like I'm literally standing over it, looking down at it. Like if you draw like vectors from my eyes for the idol, like it's like a straight line. So I actually don't know how I missed it, but I'm really just blind with that, even with glasses. But Kaylin, like, she's itching to make a move. She got denied rocks a second time, and she's dying to make this like fun, crazy move in front of the jury. And the entire kind of like round, like her plan is to idle me out of the game, because like Dale and Chloe, myself, Claire, we're voting Kate, and so really that entire round, I'm hustling so hard to like convince Caitlin that like that's her only option to win. I was basically saying, look, you vote out Kate now, like you've basically won it. Because who else can win final immunity other than like Kate? If Kate is in final four, she will win final immunity challenge. Like it's probably going to be like a body like strength to body weight ratio like endurance challenge, because that's what final immunities always are. That's what we thought.
Yeah, but how much did you believe this? Because like it's not like Melbourne Survivor is out there doing fucking measurements to make sure people's weight. It's just a strength challenge, which completely advantaged
but also
Dale.
like,
what did you think was actually going to happen? Was it going to what you were saying? What you were thinking was going to happen, or were you selling her a bill of goods to get the outcome?
No, we all thought Kate, not but like Kate had literally won every other challenge, like a wide variety of challenges, like things like balancing and throwing and running and puzzles. And like, I mean, Caitlin won because she did like the Michelle puzzle, but that's a very specific like puzzle, right? Like that like might not translate to final immunity. So, and also told her, look, like, because at that point, like, it's not like Dale was standing out as a challenge beast either. So I said, like, look, if Kate's there, she's definitely winning immunity. I think she will take tribal council, but you're gonna lose to her. It's like she is loved by the jury. You see how they like faces light up every time she talks, and she's won like 5 immunities or whatever at this point. Like, she's gonna like destroy you. Even though, and I told her, like, I think you are the best game, and if you idle me out today, like, I'll be hurt, but I'll like respect that, and I will like vouch for you in the jury. But like, you can't beat Kate. Like, I will vote for you, but everyone else is going to vote for Kate. Whereas if you vote out Kate now, the only other person who's in this game who's won immunity is you, because Max is, obviously. Oh no, so Brady is gone. And so like you'll probably win, and then you'll beat any of us. So like take the shot at Kate, like take the biggest person out of the game, like don't lose to that final tribal council. And then I think, and I don't even know like how late Caitlin made the final decision to vote to not use the idol, but I think at final final 5 tribal, Liz asked some sort of question about like, why should they not vote you out or something, and Kate kind of gave a summary of like her entire game. And then I just immediately went like, yeah, that's basically the first like 80% of her final tribal council speech. Like, because the jury was like cheering as well. Like, and so like I said to like Caitlin, like you can't beat like Kate in a jury vote. And I think like maybe that's why like she like made that very last second like, I'm gonna play the idol myself, because I think up until that point she was probably gonna idol me out.
Well, it would have been a fun move for her, a big move. I think the points you were making were valid, and the jury was certainly pro-Kate, but you couldn't, and I guess you could read our faces. There's the potential that Caitlin could have beaten her, but I think it's more likely Dale just wins and Kate gets taken out at 4, which then Caitlin wins the game. This is the hypothetical I'm playing with this move. I think that's what happens. Though they might
You say this, but Dale
Caitlin
hadn't been close to winning any immunity the entire game.
I know. I'm just saying, in what actually happened.
Yeah.
In what actually happened,
but
let's say she does idle you out, there's a good chance they take out Kate, or they take out Caitlin. She just idled you out, right? So maybe she's the bigger threat now, no matter what. Like, I don't know. It's one of them going at that point, and I don't know which one Dale and Chloe will think is the best choice. The thing you're spot on about Kate's little speech, and it makes no sense. It's a really poor play by Kate, because I remember being there in the jury when she's making that speech. We see the 5 of you walk in. We see the immunity around Caitlin's neck, and we know Kate is gone. Like, there's just no doubt. Like, it's the obvious move. Now, we don't know about the idol. We don't know that Kate has tried to encourage. She did try and persuade, encourage Caitlin to think about playing the idol on her, right? We don't know that. So I just thought, well, Kate's out, and you know what? Why not just make a grand speech about how good you were before you get booted? Like, it's something to do. Like, and that's what I thought Kate was doing. So when
you were cheering her, you thought you were giving her like the heroes like clap send off. Like,
she's done. You're done.
Yeah. And so you were like I was just like, come on, like, can you not see that like she's got like all those votes?
I would do that if there was a chance of being saved. And then so when Caitlin stood up with the idol, and this is why the response from the jury was so poor to her playing it on herself, was when she stood up and put it on herself, we're like, when she's talking like, oh, she's gonna play it on Kate. This is gonna be amazing. Like, we're excited for the big move.
I thought so too. I thought I was gone. I thought I was
Yeah.
gone.
And just played it on itself, and I'm like, well, that was disappointing. And like, so you know, that really soured Caitlin in a lot of the jury's view. To the extent that if you and her had ended up there, I'm not saying it's a slam dunk that she wins.
No,
It
Caitlin
should be.
Okay, slam dunk, Caitlin wins.
I think if it's you and look, you'd have to have a better final trouble than you have, but I think I'd have voted for you if Chloe isn't there. I was really unsure about who to vote for.
No, like Caitlin gets Kate, she gets Laurel, she gets Tash. That's already 3 votes. You know, like yeah. Caitlin's go to. I was like, I was on board. Like, I literally told her, look, like I think you've no, and I think I told her this at that final vote. I said, I think you've played the best game, but I only know that because like I've played this entire game with you. But like the jury, like they're all the yellow people who like spent most of the day with Kate. Like, so like they're not gonna like see how hard you played, and so like you if you get rid of Kate, like actually won, is what I kind of told her. Also,
because of the cascading situation, you should know in the jury that you know you're right. Yellows have limited information. Tash comes off. Tash is pumping up Kate. Laurel comes off. She's pumping up Caitlin. Caitlin comes off. She's pumping up Kate and Caitlin. Like, no one's pumping you up. This was the problem you had on the jury. Like, no one was giving you like a pump up, whereas everyone else were like, oh, who should we vote for? Oh, you should vote for Caitlin. Okay, cool. What's Caitlin done? Oh, she's amazing. This is the messaging we're getting, right? We had no messaging about you.
Yeah. No, that.
Tash was on your side, but she couldn't really like give us a clear reason. She's like, John's been great. I'm like, what's he done? She's like, well, it's not about what he's done. It's more been like about not big moves, but smooth moves. And I'm like, I'm too tired for this shit.
And also to your point about the final mini challenge. So I know Dale won, and it looks like yes, you know, big tall guy, but if you watch Kate's interview, she like is 100% confident that she had that final mini challenge in the bag. She's like, I like bouldering is my sport. My like grip and forearm strength is like insane, and so she thinks she could have held that like pole for like ever. So you know, we don't know, but Kate is sure she would have won that final mini.
That would have been amazing to see that sort of showdown. Right, but you've got the situation, Caitlin's an easy out here, final 3, except it's not. Apparently, you have to spend about 20 minutes convincing Chloe and Dale not to send this to some sort of challenge.
No. I was the only one wanted to vote at Caitlin, but Dale and Chloe Caitlin wanted to vote Chloe as the last yellow because then like it means all, which makes sense. Like I agree with that was the right move for them because it makes like all the yellow votes suddenly up for grabs, is how they saw it. And so I was like, no, Dale, like if it's us 3, Caitlin is like winning like 7-0. Like we can't go to the end with Caitlin. She's played such an incredible game. She's won immunity. She's found idols. Like she's been to every tribal. Like maybe I didn't say that bit, but like I was just pumping up like Caitlin's game so much, and then that's when Dale realized, no, we have to like vote out Caitlin. And then it was having to convince Chloe because Chloe, once Dale had like flipped and was like, no, we're voting out Caitlin, Chloe was like, ooh, I can make it a 2-2 tie and send them to fire. And then the entire round, I'm like trying to convince like Chloe not to let go fire because I like told her like I can't make fire. I tried, and I couldn't make it, and it's like just gonna be like another like cap. What's it like? What's the phrase? What like another like in her cap? Another like like she's already had such an incredible game. She's gonna win anyway over all 3 of us. But if you let her make fire in front of the jury, like that's just gonna be like like slam dunk. She's won. And then
Chloe had a funky little line that she wanted to do, which would have been really. It was a good line.
It was an epic line.
She was going to say, I said it. She was going to say, these 2 made fire, but I played with it. She wasn't going to give any explanations of how she played with it, but she's like, I played with it because in the scenario that we're postulating, Dale is there, who created the first fire in the first challenge, and the other person on her side would have been the person who won fire between yourself and Caitlin. So it's a great little line. I do get why she wanted to go with the line. I doubt they do fire though. Like it's too late. They would have done something else.
But yeah, I was like so shocked. I thought like, all right, because like when we were doing that challenge, in my head, all I was going was like, look, I just need to outlast Caitlin. As soon as Caitlin goes, like I'm happy to drop because I just thought it was so obvious. Like because I had seen Caitlin's game, I thought she played the best game of the season, and so like I was just going like, all right, Caitlin's gone, now I can drop. Like I think I don't know if it's obvious in the video, but like 10 seconds after, like I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm not gonna beat Dell. Like and so I was happy, like thinking that it was just really obvious. And then when I was like, am I the only one that's about Caitlin? Like, no, we are voting out Caitlin.
She goes, and you go into the final tribal, and we talked about this at length after the game, and I found it really a fascinating way of doing a final tribal. You told me, because I'm like, why didn't I vote for you? Obviously, you went to every tribal council, you voted correctly at 12 of them. Why didn't you get my vote? Why wasn't I convinced to vote for you? And you said, because I didn't try and get your vote. I was really only focused on the votes I could win. Tell us a bit about that strategy as a final tribal council.
Yeah, so I think you guys touched on it last week, but there was like such a long time between Caitlin's tribal boot and final tribal council. Like you said it was 2 hours. Like I don't know if it was actually 2 hours, but it was at least an hour and a half. Like because
it felt
like,
a long,
got so dark and so cold. And so
it was a long wait, and then they had all the production issues. So many production issues. So
initially I think we got told like it will be starting in like 20 minutes, half an hour. Use this time to think of your speech. And I think like Dale and Chloe spent like 2 minutes, and then they just happily chatted for the rest of the time. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna use this time to like craft my speech and work out what the jurors like want. And I think my problem, right, was as the time got longer and longer, my speech just got longer and longer because like I just had more time to plan, more time to sort of go over what like every single juror. And so like by that point my speech was like so long. And I think that's why like we sit down at final tribal council and Liz's like, you have 60 seconds because we need to get out of here. And if anyone's done like an assignment and they're over the word limit, they have to cut down to the word, but how hard it is to trim like that. And I had to go from this like 10-minute speech to 1 minute, and so I think I tried to rush it, but I was still in the pre-merge, like when it got cut off. And so, but in terms of my like tactics, like I kind of thought like people sometimes think like, oh, like it's about who played the best game and survivor resume and physical game, social game, strategic game, but like that's not. It might be how the audience sees it, but that's not how jurors vote. Like kind of, and I kind of spoke to you about this like shortly after. Like jurors have like their perception of what was happening in the game, and everyone's perception, like no one's got like a completely like correct perception. Like, and you spend the next few years when you're talking about later trying to work out what you didn't know. But like you all think like most people think they're the hero of their own story. They played a good game. They should have won. And especially with like our cast, which was like such a good cast, stacked with like really good players. Everyone kind of thinks, yeah, I was a good player. Like, why did I get voted out? And so there's this kind of cognitive dissonance between like what you think, which is like, yeah, like, like I'm an amazing player, but then there's a kind of unsettling feeling of like, but why, does this sit uneasy with me? And so a lot of like jurors, you just naturally kind of vote for like whatever will resolve the cognitive dissonance, like whatever makes the story complete, something you can be satisfied like with. And so like that's why in the past people were like, oh yeah, like I voted for like Sandra the mom because I didn't want to give $1 million to the guy who's going to blow it on hookers and drugs and die. Or when you ask people like why did they vote for people who come back from edge of extinction, like even if like coming into the game, I think I remember coming into the game for Winners at War, they asked everyone and everyone hated the edge of extinction twist and said they wouldn't vote for that person, but then she still got 4 votes. And I think part of it is like if you are on edge of extinction, like even if you like coming into the game believe no one from edge of extinction has been voted out should ever win, but if you've gone through that experience, suffered like that entire time, like what is your story? Like if you don't believe someone could have like risen from the ashes, from the edge of extinction, and won. Why did you suffer? Why didn't you do a Sandra and just quit? Like, so that's what like that's how I thought for the jurors. So when you ask me like why wasn't I like kind of going hard about my moves, I just didn't think like this is what most jurors want, and that's what you wanted, sure, and that's probably what Tash wanted, but I didn't know that, and so because I remember like you guys were angry, like you're like opening like speeches, you're all goats and you suck and you haven't done anything, and so I because I know like you like people, some people, I remember people on podcasts thinking, oh yeah, slam dunk, like John's gonna beat Dale and Chloe, but I didn't think that because I knew Chloe like had Max and Brady like absolutely locked. Like there was no way like I was
I
gonna
would
win
say
those
she
2
wouldn't.
votes.
She didn't have Max locked. Max and I had no idea who we were voting for.
Oh, okay.
But Max ultimately was probably a default onto Chloe.
Yeah.
I probably got convinced to vote for Chloe, or convinced myself to vote for Chloe during it, but neither of us were actually locked. Brady was absolutely locked.
But like, because I knew Brady and her would like absolute like unbreakable thing, but like she also told me that like she had spooned Max in the shelter night 1, and she was trying to spoon him night 2. So like I thought, oh, is this like some sort of showman kind of thing, and that's why I kind of went in between them. But so I thought like, and also Max, I barely had a time to, Max was like, we played together 1 round, and like we voted for each other. So like, and you were right after. So like I didn't think you were gonna vote for me anyway. I thought maybe, like I didn't know what your relationship with Dale was like, so I thought like maybe you might vote Dale, but I didn't think I had a chance at your vote. So really now there's it's a 7 juror final tribal council. I need 4 votes, and I already think I can't get these 3. So I really need the other 4. And keep in mind, Kate had been very vocal that she wanted a female winner. So I already thought she's leaning Chloe. So I didn't want to come across as that kind of like arrogant guy, can try to claim like to have like been this strategic mastermind and manipulate all these moves and stuff. Because like one, like I could read like your perception of me wasn't that anyway. So if I told you that, there would have been some dissonance, like of like, who is this goat trying to like claim like, he orchestrated like these moves over us, like the real big move players. Like I didn't think about like that would just, if I claimed that like in that moment, I think that would have just caused people like Tash, people like Caitlin, because Caitlin was already like, she was quite upset that like I'd like, obviously voted her out right at the end when we had worked together. And she had never tried to vote me out. So like, but like she still voted with me because like she could get over the hurt emotion because like she thought I deserved to win. But if I was like saying, oh yeah, I betrayed Caitlin, because like, because what I'm telling is, like it's Final 4, I had to do it, Caitlin, because you're gonna win. It's different to I'd been like going against you since like the start of the merge. Like it's a very different story. And so I thought I'd lose Caitlin, Kate, and Tash if I went too hard. So that's why I think I tried when people asked like Tash was trying to like give me a chance to sell my game, and I probably didn't pick up on that. So I kind of like was kind of saying like, like I didn't want to claim to be like the sole person orchestrating a move. I was talking about how like I was bringing people in together to make these moves and like kind of keeping like voting blocks like tight to make a move happen, but I didn't want to claim the sole credit.
I think that's such a smart discussion point. I think what you go to there, you had great moves. There's a lot of great moves. A lot of people in that jury are there directly because of you. I'm not going to say indirectly because everyone's indirectly there. Everyone that's there is indirectly there because of the entire Final 3. Like, there's no question of that. It's that direct point. And you were directly the cause of Cash. You were directly the cause of Caitlin. You were directly the cause of Brady by going and selling him out to Kate and Caitlin. And Laurel was the only one you weren't directly the cause of. But you could have claimed those moves and you didn't. And I think it takes a very savvy person to recognize that you had a perception, and if you had started trying to claim it, as you say, who is this goat trying to claim these other people's moves? Even though you absolutely would have been telling the truth, and we see that post, we can watch the show, we can all talk about it, but in that moment to recognize I cannot say more than what I've actually done. They see me as probably an underdog that's persevered in spite of my circumstances, and I'm the best choice of this 3. And they probably realize I'm still the best choice of this 3, whether they like it or not. And I've just got to stick to that story. You know?
Well, that's why I was trying to like. I know I get so much shit from Denise, but the reason why I was talking to Denise was like, all right, I don't have much time. If I like try to like shortcut my way to the win by saying, hey, Denise went to every tribal council and like, she won. Like, don't vote for Scoopin. And I'm not saying Dale Scoopin or that Chloe's Lisa. Definitely no one's Scoopin. But like, but what I'm saying, right? Like, because I mean, there are parallels. Like Chloe, like Lisa was on the Yellow Tribe. They won every single like pre-thing, and so and she's nice and really social, and so like I'm not making skipping comparisons, but like I was trying to like piggyback off that, so I didn't need to oversell my try to push my game, but saying like Denise won because she went to every tribal council. Just give me the win because I did what Denise did. That's what I was trying to do, and that's why I like I was just trying to go like just vote for the Denise. Like it was don't vote for Scoopin was what I was trying to say. But
I'm not thinking about Scoopin. I'm thinking about I love Malcolm. I was sad when Malcolm lost that challenge. Now I'm just remembering how sad I am.
You can't vote for Malcolm. You can't vote for Caitlin. So vote for Denise is what I was trying to say. But like I think so my go-to final tribal council question when I'm a juror. So I asked this in Canberra. If people have seen Canberra, was
your Canberra was just a layup for Mark. Come on.
No. So my question was for me, game awareness. So for me, awareness is the most important skill in Survivor. Not only awareness of what's happening in the game, but also awareness of yourself and your weaknesses. So what is the biggest mistake you made in the game, and what did you do to overcome it? Because for me, like that, better read like the game, read other people, and read how they perceive yourself, and then what are you going to do to overcome that is such a crucial part of Survivor.
It's a great question, but it was still a Mar layup because she had done those things so fucking well in Canberra that you just gave her a perfect thing to talk about.
But
she was so good.
Use the example of like why what you were proposing I should have done wouldn't have worked. Do you remember in season 43 when Cassidy was trying to claim these moves and everyone's like shutting down, like, no, those were our moves. You didn't even realize that, like, that we did it. Like, I think if I tried to like claim,
so like Gabler was more part of those moves than you. They were Gabler's moves. Gabler's with us. Let's vote for Gabler.
Yeah. So like, I think if I tried to push that aggressive, like, no, I was like the puppeteer doing these moves, like, I would have got the Cassidy shut down. And so like, that's why I didn't take that.
Okay, Gabler. There's like they're similar looking, tall, gangly. No, it's an incredible read of the play, and that's why I really highly rate your game. It's not because you go to all the tribals and you vote correctly all the time, and you're never really in danger because you get one vote earlier on, you get the votes at the merge, but if that had actually gone 5-5, then you're safe on rocks, right? Like, I don't think anyone on your group would have flipped on you on rocks. I don't think that would have happened. So I think you were always in a very safe position, always playing the middle from the bottom in a way, and actually having a lot of influence through your social connection, notwithstanding that you were seen as not a power position in the game, which is the ideal scenario. And people would then normally say, well, you got a Christy Bennett at the Tribal Council and really show how good your game was. But and you might have had to do that if you were sitting next to a Caitlin or a Kate, because you would have had to battle for it. But you recognize that you got there with the right people, and now all you need to do is make yourself the best choice of the 3, win the votes that you can, and you can talk about all your moves later, which you've done, and you've got a chance to do here, and it's happened over a couple of years. I think that's really so savvy and so switched on in the circumstances to not just play the game, but to read the game and then to read the jury and push for the outcome that gets you the win. Look, I think you should have won 5-2. I wish I'd voted for you. That's what it should have been. Though, Laurel also says she wishes she'd changed her vote for Dale, so it could have been a 3-3-1 ghost situation. Dale could have cast the final vote.
Dale has always been adamant he would have voted for me.
There you go. Either way, you're winning that game in that group. Congratulations, John. An incredible game. So good to catch up with you and hear all you had to talk about with this win. I know it was a few years back, but it was a fantastic couple of days and a game that you should be, and I know you are very proud of your win.
So, thanks, CK. Very, very kind words. I think, yeah, I think it was just like for me, I was just really because like I think there was a point where maybe a lot of us weren't sure whether we'd ever see it, but I think like I just like in playing in the moment, I just felt like the cast was such a solid cast, both from a character and a player point of view. So I think it was just like for me, it was just like such a fun weekend. And I think everyone sort of always says, "Oh, like playing this like LRG is like a life-changing experience." But for me, it was when we played Melbourne, we were the only two people not from Melbourne, and then within like what 10 months, like I already moved to Melbourne. So it like literally and still here. So it literally was life changing for me. So but yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity to get to chat about it.
I think we're also a very cool cast because a lot of us are close friends with other members of the cast, or different members of the cast. Like I think if amongst us we could probably pull all 16 people into a room, and there's not a lot of casts that could probably do that. I think there's a lot of close connections amongst members of the cast, and all of the cast are always peripherally connected for being there. So I think that's really positive. For those of you that are watching or watching later, please like and subscribe on our Facebook or YouTube. They're all set up now. I got a comment from Tara earlier where she put a comment saying just liking this because she wants to remember to watch this later. If you are wanting to watch it later, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, on Facebook, also on Spotify. You can also listen to it on Spotify and listen to it on Apple Podcasts. All of the mediums are there for you to check out the ORCA pod. So please do those things. Now that we've got our own platform, we're really looking to make sure we expand that listenership and make sure we're getting it to you in whatever way you want to listen to it. Do you have any final comments before I go to the outro, John?
No. Please go ahead.
As Laurel said, hottest cast, hottest winner. We ate. What a fantastic
Only
way to
because you
finish.
didn't win, Laurel. we haven't mentioned the iconic like Black Widow kind of.
That was incredible.
cameo
Maybe
from
Laurel will show up with it on the tea party. Please locate it for that purpose. Tea party is next week. Until then, I'll get this right soon. Tea party is next week. See you then. Until then, we will dance. You dance? All right, very good.
Do you dance up there in every podcast?
Yeah.